So why is self-awareness important in goal setting?
Um, yeah, that's a good one. I I was listening to a book. I maybe maybe when I make references, I know what I want to try to do, Raj. I know my growth edge in this podcast is to bring more of the actual book to the table because I want to do this more. I was listening to another book. I will remember the author's name, but basically it's applying lessons of computing and creating different algorithms to the human brain, like our own decision making. And one of the most famous ones, the first major example was the idea of if you had to hire a new employee, how much time should you spend trying to figure out the qualifications for it versus interviewing people? And the answer is 43%. You should spend time on looking at the qualifications of this, and then the other percentage of the time spent on actually doing the interviews. And I think he had an example in there too of someone who was like, into this kind of a statistics and did some sort of qualitative analysis on his life, like when he should find his life partner, and he followed it through like by the year, and it worked out. It was like whatever. So it's a funny thing. Anyway, so in this, all to say that I feel like investing in self awareness is sort of like investing in what are the qualifications of what exactly I'm looking for. It's not like I'm actually going to try them yet, or I'm going to try on specific things, but I'm going to first sit and just check in with what is first. And that's investing in that 43%. I feel like that might be high in terms of, if you're, but it's an interesting question. Like what percentage of time do you really want to spend to self-awareness in the idea of goal setting or versus how much time, for example, do you want to spend on creating a structure to follow through on that goal? And so what's percentage of the time do you want to spend on awareness of the goal versus the actual development of the structure of the goal? I don't think there's any one answer, but I think the important thing is to ask the question so that you have to at least think of an answer. And that's a lot of the value of coaching is let's just ask the question, even though we don't have a specific answer we're looking for, but just the asking of the question is useful. So I think that's the whole beauty of self-awareness type questions anyway, is simple, when you ask someone something and they become aware of something they may not have thought consciously of for a couple of weeks, and then that sparks an insight that changes the goal. That's huge. That's value.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes there can be a huge disconnect
Mm-hmm.
with, for people, the goals that they're setting. Think about goals that I used to set for myself were expectations of where I should be in life as a woman, as an Indian woman, culturally, goals that my family may have thought I should have been setting or society thought. Or I was coaching somebody last week on comparison, and this person was really talking about, well, this is where my peers are at, and that's why I want to set these goals. So we really had to move into those self-awareness questions around, well, what would make these goals fulfilling for you? Or what are your own goals? Are these your goals? Are these goals you think that you should be setting for yourself?
Yeah, those are big questions.